We're live.
Oh, wow.
Hi guys. This is just so lovely. Thanks all for being here so far. So welcome to my channel, where we are live tonight with the adorable Rohan. Thaya. Yeah, I've got it
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
only known you 4 years and I still can't say your name. So this is I'm Mel, and Moran and Renee. So Ro's on here for a reason. So anybody who don't know, Ro is an author, a poet, and an artist as well. We've known each other for 4 years, and we connected. I think it was. Didn't I like something? Some of your poetry was floating about on the Explore feed, I think.
I think so. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It was
Yeah,
like, organically, I think we just like found each other's profiles.
yeah, and I thought, oh God, that really touched me. And then, like, obviously, we started chatting and then become friends, and the lockdown shit and everything
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, and we've been friends ever since. Yeah, yeah. And then Rowan said to me the one day, about 3 years ago, I think it was 2 years, nearly 3 years.
Nearly.
That- yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thinking of designing a tarot deck, so I said, go for it. And you did. And here we
Yeah.
are today. And it's took its time because of all the love that's gone into it. And the tears and everything else along the way. And like obviously, I mean, I did showcase it on my feed last week, but I wanted to leave it really to tonight so Rowan can explain it more. This is the Visions of Arcadia. And there's a deck of 80 cards, and it's created by Ro, obviously. And this is coming to Kickstarter um March, April time when Ro's ready and all the finalizing details have been sorted.
I'm
So
aiming first week of April.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of dragged him on under duress and says, right, you coming on bloody Kickstarter on YouTube with me because we want to plug this Kickstarter. So Rose just said, okay then, and he's come to introduce himself and tell us all about himself, his journey, what started him off on his tarot journey, and how we got from just a DM on Instagram to this. And
Yeah.
so, welcome, and it's lovely to see you. This is no different because we're always chatting anyway, ain't we? So yeah, it's
But
just lovely to see you on here.
I mean, I have to say thank you for like putting this together, and of course the
It's a
review,
pleasure.
the walk you did, that was really helpful. I'm sure like not just for people to find my profile, but also to really like lay the groundwork for getting the deck out there, because
Oh,
it is
it's fine.
it is the byproduct of like almost 2.5 3 years now, where
Yeah.
with just rough sketches and ideas that I was kind of just throwing up in the air and just you know seeing where they land. So yeah.
Oh no, it's just lovely though. You've persevered. No, Mel, it's what time is it there? Rob? About 11:30.
No, it's midnight.
Off 12, Mel. It's lovely how it's kind of organically.
But
You
this is the
know.
only apartment complex is quiet enough for me to do a video.
Oh, good. That's good. Then aren't you keeping the neighbours up? I don't want the blame for that. So I mean, obviously, there's lots of so many different tarot decks out there now. It's hard to pick and choose. There's a new one, and then there's a flavor of the month, and then everybody loves one, and then they push it to the side, and then there's another one. Hi, Terry. And then what? So what about like? Why did you? I mean, obviously I know, but like I mean, nobody else does. So why did you want to create your own deck? Was it because, um, you wanted to kind of showcase your own artwork? Or did you particularly find something missing in the decks out there that didn't kind of resonate with you at the time?
um, that's interesting. I think, well, firstly, a lot of the decks that I have purchased have been from the perspective of looking at the art and how the difference in art kind of brings in a different dimension to the meaning of the card.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think what I wanted to do was, um, I wanted to look at the entire 78 set of cards as possibly like a storyline and how it could play
Yeah,
out. Because there are decks where there's like a larger narrative flowing through the minor arcana, or each card has its own thing going on.
yeah.
So I wanted to look at it from that perspective of like, okay, like what if we try and tell a story through the artwork of the deck?
No, I do prefer that because one of my oldest favorite decks is the Goddess Tarot by Chris Dare. And each suit in that deck tells a story. The Pentacles tells the story of Lakshmi, and from the ace to the 10. And I think that unfolds really well. And I think that people can kind of like understand the minors a lot better if there's kind of a theme or a story running through them from beginning to end. And
Yeah,
when you told me, obviously, because we I don't have the story yet, because Rowan's doing
yeah,
the guidebook, I Cheryl. But when you told me there was a story and a theme that running through the deck, and I got really excited because I thought, oh, I wonder what Ryan said about this guy, or. So anyway, what we're going to do is, because not some people ain't seen the cards, so what we're going to do is these are promo prototype decks. They're perfectly fine as they are. Obviously, they're not in order because I've been using mine. So, what did you kind of like, what kind of ignited your passion to be really creative with your own artwork and not make it like a direct Rider Waite Smith clone? Did you find that a bit risky, or did you kind of like thought, well, I'm going to go for it, and if people love it, they love it?
yeah. I think that's honestly never considered doing artwork that very closely followed the Rider Waite Smith imagery, like
Yeah,
just
yeah,
doing that. And I think that also reflects in how I deal with the court cards in it, like the one that you're holding up. I wanted to kind of move away from the sort of um, the actual, like hierarchy or like the court aspect of the court cards. I
yeah,
want to
yeah. I understand that. Yeah.
bring a sense of universality to it. Um, Something that's kind of just
Well, it
a bit
makes sense. It really does. Saying Dreamer and Seeker and Angel and what's the last one? Leader.
either. Yeah,
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 yeah. It makes a lot of sense because you've still got the essence of the actual Page Knight, Queen, and King. But you've renamed them obviously, and there's no hierarchy.
yeah.
And it really works. And SJ says this art looks classic already, as though it's a freshly discovered 90s deck. How cool is that?
Okay,
It's
right.
absolutely gorgeous. What I do love about it, the ones, sorry, the swords that Ryan's done, they are monochrome, and so it shows the harshness and kind of the brutality of the swords can be sometimes.
Yeah,
And this is what I love about it. I love the fact that there's no color. The color palette has been completely muted.
yeah,
So you can tell really what kind of suit you've got, like when you spread the cards out. This is one of my favorite cards is this Hierophant here. And so we've got like kind of like nods to Indian gods and goddesses, haven't we? Which you will obviously explain in your guidebook.
yeah,
Um, and it's
I-
just such a lovely, workable, usable deck. And it's not a direct clone, as we said, of a Rider Waite Smith. But if you are a Rider Waite Smith reader, you will have no problem reading these cards whatsoever. Um, I just I love your style of artwork, but I've always said that before you started a deck, haven't I?
yeah,
I loved your illustration work and things like that, and it's completely unique, and that's what I like about it. And it's all been done by you. There's no AI, no
yeah,
drag and drop from wherever. The less said about that, the better. So it's all your illustration, and that's what makes it special. Because now, we know what the tarot market's like with the AI kind of thing going on. And I'll be honest with you, Ro, sometimes it's so difficult to tell the difference now between AI and digital art.
yes, yeah. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
if it weren't for the integrity of some creators to mention that it's an AI deck, I a lot
yeah,
of time be able to tell.
Yeah. The deck will
Yeah.
be sold, Terry, through Kickstarter. Well, it's going to be actually placed onto Kickstarter probably the first week in April, and then obviously if you want to back it, the details will all be, in due course. They'll be on Rowan's Instagram, and if you are on Instagram, you will see a lot of it. Hopefully, fingers crossed, shared. Kristen asked, "What mediums did you use, Ro, for your art?"
Uh, for a lot of them, I did basic sketches on paper, just understanding how I wanted the movement or the bodies to be. But a lot of times, I was just working on it.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it then for the final, like with the borders and everything, I worked on the borders on Photoshop.
I love it. I love it. Now we've got an absolutely lovely question here from Mel, and she says, "I'll pop it up on the screen." And Mel says, "Can Ryan share a little bit about the story throughout the deck? Is it a love story, a spiritual odyssey, etc.? And does it flow through the entire deck?"
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, I'll also talk about like why I called it the Visions of Arcadia. It's like the whole idea behind the deck is that I'm trying to place the archetypes of of everything that we see, the energies of tarot, in a world where, we there is no divide between people, there is no sort of judgment, there's no racial discrimination, no gender discrimination. It's just a place where everyone coexists, and it's a very um, harmonious yet live and let live kind of place. Um, and so then in this world, each of the suits of the minor arcana tell an individual story.
Right.
So
Okay.
with the wands, I wanted the suit of wands to kind of be tracing the journey of the artist, the journey of the artist with inspiration and with recognition, with fame. And so as the suit progresses, you find that, as fame sets in, the colors get more saturated, they go almost like this neon pink level, and it almost comes to a point where it's on his body, like as like a restrictive, as a cage.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
character I've given my my take on dreads. I know it's probably not the most accurate description, but I wanted it to reach a point where even his hair starts getting colored, and he's completely losing himself by the nine of wands. And the 10 is when he's like completely exhausted and he cuts his hair off. And then the shift from the 10 to the page, or in my case the dreamer, is when the kundalini arises and he realizes that, there's more to it, I have to dig deeper. And by the end of it, by the time we reach like the final version of the wands, it's this like fire temple where the flame of creation is revered but also tamed and
yeah.
shared. Yeah.
You know what you're talking about, don't you? It's just
Working
you've
on.
been practicing this, haven't you, for ages now. No, look at this then from Cheryl, who is Oneness Emporium, by the way. She says, "Will Rowan be looking for stockists in the UK?" Of course he will. Um,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Now, let
Listen, my hands just do all the work for me, and like let me know how it felt. It's like,
yeah, yeah. Well, obviously we've been discussing things behind the scenes, and Rowan's told me some really lovely, things he's planning on doing with the Kickstarter. And, so
yeah.
let's discuss, like, because obviously,
I'd
there's,
like to actually get into the other suits as well if we have the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
I
of
mean,
course we have. Yeah, of course we've got as much time as you want.
yeah. So I found the Ace of Cups,
Yeah,
and Ace of Cups to be very like, I wanted the suit of Cups to be very surreal, and this sort of landscape where, even the people are sort of made from something not entirely ice but not entirely fluid.
yeah,
So there's a lot of like texture and a lot of dimension to that. And
yeah,
then I wanted these spires of glass, black glass, as kind of um, as the fact that the way emotions rise, sometimes it can be a treacherous landscape to kind of navigate.
That's so cool. Yeah, yeah,
So you can sometimes get in your own way in that sense.
you can. Yeah, true.
Yeah, and yeah, so that's for the cups. For the pentacles, the entire suit is about the journey and the relationship of these people with the land. So like I'll pick this card, which is the Five of Pentacles, which is when you realize that the way that you've been living is not really a sustainable way of living, and you're actually ruining, like you're salting the earth behind you, and
Yeah, I
the
noticed all the cracks in the soil. Yeah,
um and I mean, I also did like little nods, like her outfit has like a very block print, Indian block print vibe, and I wanted to do indigo pants, which was during colonial times, it was something that was sort of forced upon the farmers, like they were forced to grow indigo as a crop because it was in
dye.
fashion.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so things like that. And then as you reach the court cards, you see these people actually sort of merge with the earth, and they almost start sprouting um plants, or like plant like aspects themselves.
Just so lovely what you've done. It really is.
Yeah, and I think we're only left with the swords. And the swords was kind of like a, I imagined, like, if we're in this sort of fantastical place, what happens when this particular clan perhaps doesn't really live in the same dimension as the others. They're kind
Yeah,
of in like a floating kingdom version of the same people. And that's why you'll see that there is no color, because they've reached that point where they've bleached the colors from their life in the effort of intellectual pursuits, which is all
so
sorts.
cool. You just honestly, you're just a fountain of knowledge tonight. You are, and it's nice to hear because I haven't heard all the backstory of the deck, obviously. But like, I mean, you will be writing a separate guidebook explaining the story. And,
Yeah.
obviously, I want to know like how much of yourself and your own culture is smattered throughout the deck. And I have, yeah,
um I don't think it's there in the sense of, oh my god, this is an Indian deck.
yeah, yeah,
No, there's references, and there is there's the just like these small things that are peppered throughout.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so lovely. And one of the most heartwarming things that you have told me is about the Kickstarter. And you said to me, I want to keep the Kickstarter and I want it printed in India.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because, you tell everybody why you want to do that.
Well, I think I mean, one of the biggest hurdles for me was figuring out where to get it printed from, because a majority of decks are printed in China, and everyone has. I feel like every creator that I've spoken to has a very seamless access to it. Like the entire process of sending the files, getting
Yeah,
it printed, very hassle free. Like they're completely, they've figured it out. One of the bigger things is in India, all Chinese websites are blocked, so I anyway don't have access to it. Plus, like the production costs, I think were something that I don't know. It didn't really work for me in the sense that I want I really want my deck to be something that is accessible for people in, like, in my neighborhood, in my city. When I see there's such a growing interest in tarot and understanding the
yeah,
self esoteric aspects, right? Like people are taking tarot courses, and they're just starting their journey. I want it to be something that's accessible even to them,
yeah, of course. Yeah,
which like I'm not I'm like I'm just stating facts, which I've noticed for a lot of pricing of indie decks doesn't work out, at least when you do the conversion and when you do the maths. Like like it's a lot of money for people here.
It is.
And
I agree. It's a lot of money for me, So yeah, I understand.
um so I want it to be a very frills free deck. I'm not looking at doing edging. I am not the base deck. I'll obviously keep it as a add-on, or like a stretch goal to unlock later on, that maybe we do a hard box or something else, like a different version of the box. But like at its most basic existence, the deck will be in a very simple box. I'll be sending these bags with
Oh
it.
yeah,
And
the bags as well. I got mine here as well.
again, a stretch goal would be, if we cross a certain amount of money, I'll obviously do printed bags, and I'll do like custom bags, so that
See, I
there's-
think, you've kind of nailed it, because what me and Levi talk about sometimes on our lives is I am happy with just a deck. I'm not
yeah,
interested in all the bells and whistles, the badges, the scarf, and I'm not interested, Ro, to be fair. I just want the deck. I want something I can use. I don't want something that I'm paying a lot of money for, where I'm
yeah,
not scared to use it. It just sits on the shelf, because to me, that's a waste of money. I want to be able to use my decks. I mean, I told you, didn't I, how many decks I've got rid of in the last 2 weeks,
yeah,
and the ones
yeah,
I've kept are the ones I'm using now. Um, and it's exactly, Mel said the same. I want a working deck that I can use every day. And I think when you strip it all away and you're back to basics, back to just standard without the bells and whistles, not only is it
yeah,
cost effective for you and people back home as well, people ain't then going to be therefore scared to use it because and the metallic edging, or oh, this is coming off after a week. I think everybody's kind of over that now. Um,
yeah.
a deck's a deck to me, so
Yes, but I mean, we can't forego the fact that the current trend of indie decks is something that is very high value in its production and
exactly.
final this thing. So that's why I wanted to be very transparent about the fact that, for like, in the most simplest terms, quality wise, your final card usage wise, it's probably going to be closer to what a mass market deck looks like.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make something that still has all the art, but it is still accessible to basically anybody who wants to work with it.
And there's value in that, you've got your beautiful artwork at a very accessible price for people.
Yeah,
And you can
and
show people, yeah, you
even
can show people that exactly how it's done, and I think that's important.
the place where I'm getting it printed from as well, it's like I mean, it's literally like a small print shop where, like, I'm glad that they've figured out what exactly I want, after much prototyping.
Yeah,
um, but I also want to give back to my community here. I
of
want to
course.
find people here to work with. All stretch goals, all add-ons that I will be having in my Kickstarter campaign will also be working with people here in the community. If I do like a printed bag, I get it done here. If I do an altar cloth or a tarot cloth, it'll be
Yeah.
made here. Will be made in India and shipped out from India.
It's just that's just so lovely and heartwarming and authentic to hear somebody actually say something like that, especially like in the world view of things, and people want all these like beautiful things around him now, and then you're just keeping it simple and accessible. And I just think that's so lovely what you've done, for your own country and the rest of the community as well.
Yeah,
It's just really heartwarming to find somebody genuinely authentic. So thank you for doing that. It's lovely. And there's absolutely like nothing when a deck is, Cheryl says, when a deck is expensive, I rarely use it as I'm worried about ruining it. I want a deck that I can hold, riffle, and use daily. Exactly, Cheryl. I've
yeah,
got a couple of decks that, I'm thinking I ain't going to use, or in case I tear a card or something like that. but like, you know, you want something, as you say, you can sling in your bag in a cloth pouch, you know, like these. And you know, you ain't afraid to get it out in a bar or something. You know, you ain't afraid of other people handling it.
Yeah,
That's what it's all about to me.
yeah,
That's what makes a
that's
good tarot deck.
to be used, and
Yeah, to be
you
used.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
The amount of decks though that I've just sold and got rid of, and I'm thinking, why did I buy that in the first place? Because I've never used it. And like I
yep,
want something I can look at and it picks up memories along the way. And you know, so something like this is ideal. And also I will say as well, I did do a video review of this last week. And if you've got no knowledge of tarot, it is still very much an accessible deck. And especially with Rob doing the guidebook as well. In mine, there's a little we was talking about this the other day, weren't we? And we said, you know, I said, you know what, Rob, there's enough information in here anyway, you know, so you know, it's not going to be sold like this. But obviously, if it was ever sold like that, there's still enough information in there. Now,
yeah.
Mel, thank you because you've just reminded me you must be psychic. We want to
Go ahead.
talk about the gorgeous borders and the symbols. And I did say to you, didn't I remember me about symbols? And I forgot, someone else just reminded me. So we've got this one. So we've got the lovely border. So you have obviously put like some kind of dots around the border there. And then we've got the macabre.
Yeah,
And then this special one there.
yeah. I don't know if I'd call it a sigil. It's a symbol that I kind of it just came to me when I was working on it, and it if you look really closely, it's got this like really fancy DNA situation happening.
Yeah, I can
And
see. If I can put my camera up further. Got it.
yeah, it's got like that DNA situation, and it's almost prismatic where light enters from one side and it's refracted into these million different ways. The basic idea behind the symbol is that genetically we're all the same, like we're made of the same things, and
So like
that,
a
yeah,
oneness symbol.
speaks to the idea behind the deck itself. That
Talking of oneness, have you got your copy there? Have you got their extra card with you at hand?
let me see.
So we've also got two lovers card in the deck as well, if anybody fancies switching one or the other out. And there's also an added extra card as well that you can either use or not use. But I asked Rowan what it meant, and he told me, and I says, "No, you better explain it when we come on the live." Because you know what I'm like, I'm just a bit of a like, bit civet sometimes.
I mean, I should have planned this a little better so that
And
we're not.
yeah, I'm just like looking through it for it now as we're talking.
Well,
I will come across it.
not to toot my own horn, but like I think this is one of the most like I really love this.
I love that one. That's the first one I said to you, didn't I?
I'm some days surprised that I made something this cool.
Okay. That's it, right, right, hang on. And
Right?
neither of us can find this damn card, but we will because it's important and we need to talk about it. So it's an extra card after the world, but it hasn't got no number. So I suppose you can place it anywhere or use it as an added bonus. Find it, Ro, please, because I'm losing my patience with mine now. Yes, that's it. Got it.
Is it there in the frame?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is um I saw this card as sort of something that happens after the Fool's Journey ends with the World card. And traditionally that has the vibe of going through a portal and like crossing the threshold before you start the journey again. This card, I wanted it to be a return to unity consciousness, which happens in this sort of in between space before you start the journey again.
So like a liminal space.
Yes, where we're all again like I think we all merge into oneness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted it to be about. And I'm also trying, yeah, I've also got both the lovers cards here. So where this lovers card is more representative of, people who use um, people who use it to talk about a partner, or like, an a complementary energy
Yeah.
in a sense. And this is the other lovers. um I wanted this to kind of talk about, I don't know, I almost see it as like, when you get the lovers, the lovers talks about having choices, right? Like having a fork in the road, having an option. And sometimes it doesn't work out the way you think it does. The plan back, you realize that you've made the wrong decision. Also, this is kind of representative of how, a lot of queer spaces are necessary, because the world isn't always kind to people that are not, that don't fit into boxes.
Yeah, I
uh,
understand. Yeah.
in I mean, my own country, I think you have to be you have to be coming from privilege to sort of get by, but that's not
Yeah.
everyone's story.
Of
Yeah.
course not. No, everybody struggles in different ways, don't they? So yeah,
uh,
that's nice. I'm glad you've explained that as well. I'm just like really happy, and you know, to see like, you kind of sketching out the illustrations and then showing me some, via WhatsApp and that. And I was like, oh, I love that. And then it's just finalized, and it's
yeah,
just, this is a new part. This is a new journey for you now.
it
And
is. And I
yes,
like really hope that it is something that I've done my best for it to be something that you can pick up a card and you can immediately know exactly what's supposed to
yeah.
what.
Well, I could straight away, didn't I? I phoned you straight away, didn't I? And I was just overwhelmed. And I says, Ro, this is absolutely, excuse my language, fucking amazing. That's exactly what I said, didn't I? And I loved it. I loved it so much straight away. Because
That,
obviously I'd seen some of the cards, but not all of them. And it
right?
was, I'd seen some of the cards, hadn't I? But I hadn't
Yeah.
seen all of them. So it was a huge surprise for me to kind of get this finally in my hands. And
There's
so,
another talk.
sorry.
There's another card that I want to talk about.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure. Yeah.
the tower that I have renamed as Tandav,
Yeah.
uh, which is the this is meant to represent Shiva.
Yeah.
And like there's a whole beautiful mythological story attached to it, which is the first time when his third eye opens and he does the dance of destruction. So Tandav is literally the dance of destruction, and paving the way for whatever's meant to follow after that. I thought that was an interesting um, interpretation of the tower energy, because
Yeah.
so
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
that's crumbling to the ground, and you're just like, oh my god,
Yeah,
what's
it
gonna
is. It is. And it is like, if that did happen to somebody, it would be like, a regular tower moment, because that is a huge thing to happen. And I think I kind of I got the gist of the story anyway, because of the guitar and things like that. So
happen?
I kind of got the gist of that part. And there's nothing I've had to say, what does this mean? And it's just lovely. It really is. And so what's the next steps for you? Like after we've done this live, you're gonna be all super excited and looking forward to the Kickstarter now, ain't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you and I talked about the finish. Currently it's on a matte finish, but
It's
this
it
is like super matte finish.
it's
So I
yeah, it's Uber matte finish.
yeah, I know that that's not everyone's jam. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a test on like a gloss finish. Now the thing is, with this deck, I've been using my deck for a few weeks at the very least. So me, the gone away. Like it flows very smoothly. It shuffles really well,
Mine
and
is better. Look, 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 look. Mine is getting better. It does.
it it sort of smooths out really well. I want to kind of take some time and experiment with like these small things, like maybe it's just slightly thicker cardstock, or like just maybe a different finish. See what happens, just so that the base version that goes out
The hard
is
work's done now. The hard work's done. All the grueling work's done.
it,
it's here, it's printed. You know, little things like this and just little mundane tasks that you've got to do until you find the right, whatever. And we haven't
Yeah,
shown the back of the cards, have we?
yeah, of course.
Love, love, love so much.
That's actually that's a discarded concept from the main deck.
Oh, well, it works. And
And initially,
Mel's just said, so excited for this deck. Everything you're sharing, Rohan, is so inspiring. He's just a super inspirational person, Mel.
but also what I'm understanding is this is why a bigger guidebook is so important, because there is like I've taken the time to like put pack a lot of into each card, and I think for anyone who has that curiosity, it is good to have a resource where they can just check it out.
It's nice, I think, when a guidebook is useful when it tells the backstory of the deck, Right,
Is the
okay. First of
I'm,
all, we've got a question. Well, something here. I'm biased towards Matt because when I send a picture to share, I don't have to worry about lightning. Agreed. And then Terry H says, would Rohan say what his perspective is on the Three of Swords?
ah well, my perspective on the Three of Swords. If I'm not going to dig the card out. Okay, on the when you artwork, it's sort of this person sort of being split open, and at the same time, okay, no, wait, I'm just gonna find it.
Don't ask me to look through this deck again. I couldn't find the first card. Two, three. Got the Three of Pentacles row. 7, 8.
There you go. So
There
the
you
three of
go.
being like split apart, and it is again in this way. I think it is sort of heavily borrowing from the typical Rider Waite inspiration, but it's kind of like it's speaking more about the healing aspect of
Yeah.
being broken, and you just make friends with the darkness.
Well, yeah, and we've got to, when we're kind of broken apart, the next important step is to heal. And we all know that threes are about growth.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just a lovely. Oh, lovely! Look who's here, Danny.
Hey. You'll also
Thank you.
notice all the swords. There's a lot of like body paint, and I wanted it to kind of be representative of like war paint.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it
Just like
works. It's just
yeah.
fab. Um, And like, I mean, obviously, I mean, we're not out here with a begging bowl, guys. But as soon as Rose kickstarted, because Rose relatively new, well, it's not like kind of new to the obviously Instagram, but he's kind of like he's always been in the back burner on in the tarot scene, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like any help would obviously be appreciated. All the shares, and obviously you'll see me using the deck. So like obviously I'll link it, and anybody who wants to like see more cards, if you haven't looked at my review, please drop myself or Ro a message, and I'm sure that one of us can like kind of say, look, he's the card you're looking for.
Yeah.
Um, it's
For sure.
just wonderful, absolutely wonderful you know for somebody who's a friend and to actually see them kind of like shine. Um, and it's just start warming to me. And Mel's just asked which card is Rohan's favorite.
Ooh. I
All
don't
of
know.
them. All of them, Mel. All of them.
I
Terry
mean,
says thanks for the description.
oh, thank you. Um,
Mine is Mel. That one. This one is the Hierophant. I love it.
yeah, I think mine might be the Emperor.
I love the retro font. I just love the whole font on the deck. It's just really
Yeah.
cool.
This was one of those things like I knew immediately the kind of font I wanted.
You did, yeah, yeah. It looks really good.
I also really like the Six of Wands, and here you can see that the neon aspects have started to come in.
When you said it was getting light, more saturated throughout, like from 0 to 10. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Also, I wanted to make the wands sort of represent like lightning rods of inspiration. So all of the
I
wands have,
noticed that. If you remember, I said they're on my video review, didn't I?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's just, so looking forward to this launch. Here you got some fans. And obviously, I'm going to share the video. And I've spotted some, I mean, without going obviously through every single card in the deck, I did
yeah.
kind of spot a cheeky little like nod to you in one of the cards, of course. And it's lovely to kind of like see that as well. And so, the people, obviously the people in the deck, right? Are they actually based on people who you know in real life?
No, no, I wanted to have like fun. I don't want it
Yeah,
to be I don't want it to be so derivative. So even with like Shiva being present in the major arcana, there's just Shiva there, and then the Justice card is Kali, and even
yeah.
then I tried to make it like sure you can tell that it's her, but
Yeah,
like
yeah. Well, yeah, it was the size and the beads that give it away for me, really.
yeah, I, I,
The
I
skulls. Yeah.
too directly linked. That was fun.
Yeah, I understand. It's just this is what I'm saying about it being so unique. Because it's just, you've been left to your own free reign. You've done exactly what you wanted to do. And the
Yeah,
good thing is it totally works. Because if you've got no kind of like, structure or I'm going to base this on that and the other, it could end up being a mess. But this isn't. So I'm just super, super proud of you, honestly. I ain't going to stop saying it.
you know,
Uh,
I have to admit that me being here also is thanks to the work of all the other creators out there whose decks I have used and whose cards I have used to gain a better understanding of tarot. I mean, it's just steps along the way, like we're helping each other out.
well, yeah, and I think everybody, whether you kind of admit it or not, anyone, there's people in the community who completely inspire me. So there's people obviously inspires you being an artist. And I think we can show our gratitude that, to everyone really, and it's nice to this deck makes me feel the divine energy on each card. How lovely is that? This deck makes me feel the divine energy of each card.
Oh, that's so cool.
So nice. I'm just trying to find you. Well, which one I thought was you anyway. You ain't gonna bloody tell me now which card it is, are you?
It's the Wheel of Fortune.
I've
Let me
just
see.
got it. Just got it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I thought that's Rowan. That is right. I knew it was. Um,
Yeah.
this has been absolutely amazing. It really has. Obviously, guys, we'll both keep you updated, and the video will be shared in the community tab as well. So it'll be up. I'll never delete my videos anyway. And so, thank you so much, Ro, for everything.
Me and
For being. One thing I will say is I want to thank you for being such a truly genuine person, truly genuine man, and an amazing friend. So thank you. I really
thank
do mean that. And I wish you all the luck in the world. Not as though you'll need much, as soon as it's out there. But like, yeah, it's just been an absolute pleasure because I know that this has been created from love and authenticity and seeing you grow the way you have over the last 3 years, it just means the absolute world. So I want to thank you for being here, for doing what you're doing. I want to thank all you guys as well for being here as well. You stay there a set, Ro. We'll catch up very soon. Obviously, when Ro's got his Kickstarter running, we'll have him back up on here again.
you.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you guys. We will see you all very soon. You take care of yourselves. I'll be back soon and we will see Rowan again. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.